There's still 4 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Make it live. By the time it will come, it will be past 5. Dr. Upadhyay, how are you?
I'm
All
fine.
good, all safe at your end?
Yes.
Pardon my ignorance, लेकिन आज का कोई topic है? What is the today's topic?
The reporting and measurement tools.
Okay. So you could not get a better questioner and a better answerer.
Nothing like that. These days, the younger generation like Harsha, these guys are, overtaking you without even letting you know.
I know. So Pratyush, you second my feeling that I've become a fan of Harsha. In the CSR,
all of you all are very generous.
In the CSR space, I know only Harsha, who I'm a fan of.
Thank you, sir. I'm humbled. So we are live right now. So maybe we can start. So we'll start.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Good evening, everybody. Today, welcome to the live interactions with Global Changemakers. Today, we have with us Mr. Pratyush Kumar Panda, who is a CSR and sustainability professional since more than 2 decades and presently the Vice President and Head of Corporate Social Responsibility at ACC Limited. Mr. Panda has spent most of his career life with CARE India for 10 years and over 12 years in CSR space. He is a master's in sociology and MBA in rural management from XIM-Bhubaneswar. In 2019, he was honored with Call of Honor Award from XIM-Bhubaneswar. In March 2020, Mr. Panda got certified by WHO as a COVID-19 operational manager. He is also a member of multiple committees such as CII, Bombay Chamber of Commerce, and IMC. And he is a vivid marathon runner. Welcome, sir. The session would be moderated by Dr. Upadhyay. He is the chairman of DNS Foundation, as well as he is the director with Center for Social Review. Plus, he is also a lead trainer for the course Future Focused Reporting and Measurement Tools. Thank you, sir. Over to you all.
Thank you, Harsha. Welcome, Pratyush Panda. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I have seen your journey long from when you were in Delhi, working with different companies and then going on. One thing I will like to know from you, like we both have been part of this whole CSR journey, which has traveled a long way now. It became a law on 1st April 2014, and already almost 6 years are over. How do you see this journey, how it has folded itself? To me, it looks like the spirit which was there when we started with this journey. Idea was let the companies decide what they want to do and let them do good for their stakeholders. And the spirit was to work in remote villages where the facilities have not reached and use the management capability of the corporate with the funds of the government. So how do you see this journey, how it has started and how it's unfolding itself?
Very good evening, Dr. Upadhyay, Asha, Ramezi, and all the people those have attending this live webinar. And it's always a pleasure to talking to Dr. Upadhyay with you. We have worked together in Delhi for more than a decade on the same CSR and sustainability related space. And it was always wonderful talking to you on those lines. Coming back to your questions that with the mandate it was started and where it is today. And, slowly people started giving shape of, everything need to be measured, and that to measured in a lens of money. Everything has to be rupee term. So that has gone, the trend has gone up in last 2014 to till date. And everything, I must tell you that everything cannot be measured in rupee term. So in India, the context of charity, philanthropies, we have multiple way of doing it. So we have Barthadan, Sramadan, people can do, share their know-how, their skill set. That also a charity in India. People spare their hard-earned money, also a charity. At times, people also shares a lot of things on kind as well. So, if you bring happiness in a tribal child in a remote village and aspirational district like XIM-Bhubaneswar in Jharkhand, working there, the smile and the face of that kids, which has come on his face for after a decade or something like that, or maybe a month or so, and vanishes after 5 minutes, how do you measure that? It's very difficult. It's extremely difficult to measure everything under the sun in the lens of eye. It can be measured in some other metrics as well, but not always possible to measure in rupee terms. So somehow it is being pushed in that direction to be everything has to be measured in rupee term. So for that, the social return on investment, put everything on rupee term, ISO 26,000, all those things are there. It's good to have it, but everything cannot be mechanized, especially in the context of Indian CSR scenario. And precisely from 2014, when we started, everything has to be done, decided by the board committee on CSR and the board. If you look at the entire rule book of after the new Company Act, Section 135 came into existence, the rule book of CSR, it says that the board has to approve each rupee for the CSR. Board have to authorize concerned person to work on their behalf. They have to monitor, they have to make field visits and report to government. Whereas when every power has been accumulated and given to board, but today's context in India, people, those who are lawmakers, try to deviate from there. They want to push hard as if it is soft earned money, and whether it is any bureaucrats or the ministers across all states, they try to push and do everything. And for them, they will request you today and they want to get it done in 10 days time. They must understand all corporates work on a business plan base. So when some money is being there on CSR, it is not parked as a miscellaneous. There has been a lot of debate, discussion on which they do need assessment studies, they design project has been approved by the board, then they used to go. And ideally, there will be 4 board committees, CSR meeting or board meetings on which they should approve. People always come and say, ki ye request hai, it done. Yeah. So there the big challenges comes. People, those who are supposed to safeguard the law, they must read, understand it very clearly, and then they should request. I've seen certain states, I must tell, my home state in Orissa, nobody puts you on pressure on with respect to CSR. They motivate the bureaucracy, the administration motivates you to get it, do a good job, but they will never give a prescription, you have to do this. I've not seen, but I've seen in some other states, which is at times bit of frustration also. So you know that you are living out quality of life related projects, and you are going to do a project which cannot be measured. Say you have to put up a small road somewhere, a bridge somewhere, how do you measure? So one should not look, especially the government should not look CSR as a synonym to their own fund and their own projects. It should come as an ice on the cake kind of a process. Then only the quality of work, the with government and other NGOs will go up, and the product that will come out, the impact that will come out exponentially extremely high, on a high end. So that part is still there, but yes, people are managing. And yes, there are a lot of learnings has gone up by this time within NGO fraternity, the corporates, the government. Whenever it has gone jointly, has gone up drastically.
Pratyush, luckily we had Mr. Sasmit Panda, who is member of parliament from Orissa with us yesterday. He was also echoing almost the same type of sentiments about the government, where they have given the power of the district magistrate to the village sarpanch, and how they have
Yes.
decentralized the whole working process in these COVID times and all. So he was also echoing the same type of feelings. I would also I like to know from you, because you have been also part of this whole development process journey also. Like you started from a village, came to up to Delhi, now in Mumbai. So how do you relate your own journey to this whole journey of development which we are seeing in India, where we have come a long way? It's being
So,
dictated by government now. A lot of things have changed. So we'll also like to know something about your journey also.
okay. Let me elaborate. So, my birthplace, if you tell me, it is like a village which is like a submerged, kind of submerged within Hirakud Dam projects. So, in independence, when Nehruji started doing the multi-purpose mega projects like Bhakra Nangal, Hirakud Dam, and Orissa. So, more than 600 villages submerged. So this is how. So today, if you ask me, my village is inside Hirakud Dam project,
Okay.
and I have born, brought up in nearby small town, which was developed by a Birla group called Orient Paper Mill. It was India's first paper industry established in 1936. So my father was working those days with forest department, and there was some and by the time he was constructing his old home with some wooden blocks and all, so his boss sarcastically told that yes, Mr. Panda has taken a lot of logs from forest and building his house. It has hurted him in a way. He left the job, he put up his paper and joined Orient Paper Mill, and till next 5 years it was not accepted, yet he continued to work in Orient Paper Mill. Then he realized it was his bachelorhood, and he realized that in that small town where nothing on, but there is a school, there is a convent school, there is a cooperative, there is a small club for everyone. So we have born and brought up in that colony where it was and my father was from journalist background. So he has wrote a small article those days also in Hindi. We called it Bharat ke andar ek chota Bharat, Brajraj Nagar. So it's like if you come out from your home, your front is Punjabi, left is Gujarati, right is Muslim Bhai. So we have all grown in that culture, and that has given a lot of broadness in mind from our childhood. Number one. Number two, there is a good quality schools locally, even if it is local medium and all those things, and with very minimum fees. We have all studied and grown up there, and after graduation, I was thinking what to do. Unemployment was sure suit for 99%. So one of my batchmate from Raurkela, Bihari friend used to say, लिख देंगे यार आफ्टर ग्रेजुएशन तेरा उड़िया पेपर में समा जाता है ना, उसमें लिख देंगे घरेलू आदमी के लिए कमाऊ स्त्री चाहिए, शादी कर लेंगे, घर संभाल लेंगे. So with this mindset we have grown up. Then same year I realized one of my cousin brother gone through bank PO. I said, let him prepare for banking, at least I'll get through bank clericals. So I was preparing those days, and the CAT entrances of XIM all those started. My dad, my father, whom I lost last December, has first motive go for XIM-B entrance. I went there, and somehow I could join XIM-B for studies with all hardships. Those days, and I was fortunate enough, one of them, to get IGSS scholarship, Indo-German Social Service scholarship of some 10,000-15,000 rupees, which has helped me to grow up in a culture. And in XIM-B, it was those days of Father Bobert was there as director, was a Belgian father, but hugely adopted in India. He used to speak 20-30% Hindi, and I had spent huge time with him. Whenever I've never missed out a single opportunity to take his time, and he has being a kind of mentor to me, to a lot of other students also. And then I joined CARE and served on through CARE. I served across India, mostly in eastern states, almost for a decade. And those days, it was again a huge capacity building, training, support, everything. Then I could able to relate what happens in Delhi with 5-year plan of 8, 9, 10, 5-year plan, 11 5-year plan, and what is happening in KVK district where I was working on those sites. So those were all has brought a lot of realization in my beliefs, processes. So certain thing I am still carrying. I'm a vegetarian, so, and in addition, anti-corruption is something like close to me. Anti-dairy, women empowerment kind of processes. I'm open and always come forward proactively to help anyone under the sky, whether in my personal capacity or on institutional capacity across. That's I'm doing it till date. And then at the same time, when I was with CARE, how I crossed CSR somewhere on the line. If you remember in Kalinganagar, that 11 tribal were dead in 2004-5 because of police fire in Orissa and all. And then there was a team constituted by Orissa and the then Planning Commission to study what went wrong and how it went wrong. So on behalf of civil society fraternity, I was one of the members of the part of that study. Then I went to Kalinganagar, stayed there without letting others to know. And then I realized why the tribals were dead against some of the upcoming projects that would best of the brand and the Orissa. And then I came very close with some of the corporates. And then I thought, let me join some of the corporates to help them out. You know, बाहर रह के हम लोग कह सकते हैं कि ये गलत है, वो गलत है, but who is going to clean that? Some of the social engineers are required to go inside and do all those cleaning work and help them out to do a better job. That's motivated me to lead international organizations and help Indian corporates in their line to do good quality CSR and sustainable work. And I was fortunate enough wherever I have worked, especially in the beginning of the green field projects, that had come up very well with very closely knitted with the local community. And till date, I get a call from the same displaced families. Those were like Bihari Oram, who was a pav seller, pav besta tha, pungi baja ke. And today he's a man of growth in 10 years' time. He was part of the tribal fellow, dress-based family. It's one of the cases I'm talking about. And till date, I'm getting connected with all of them. And from other projects also, those who are doing some kind of other greenfield projects also, if they need some kind of support on those lines, I used to come up. And then within this sector, what I realized, the first foremost job when I came to ACC, I thought, let all my NGO partners must undergo ICA training to know what is CSR and all. So with the help of Dr. Bhaskar Chatterjee and team Diden, on the 2015 Jan, the entire CSR team of ACC, along with the project head of all our 47 partners, underway ICA training. And that gave us a very good capacity building support, and we knitted ourselves well to get aligned with CSR requirement. And then journey went on and on. And this is how my 22, 23 years of career has gone as of today.
Pratyush, one thing which I have observed, like I knew that time when you were going with IICA, the training, I think you also organized GRI training and other for your staff.
Yes, yes.
And as a company also, you have been able to take your company along with you. So your journey as a person and as a company is synonymous to each other, like. And your team also, you have very well trained team also. And a lot of times we hear from you, I saw some interview of you where you were saying that these days you don't have much work because your team takes care of it. So what is this type of training which you have imparted to your training, due to which you are little free now? That's what I saw in one of the interviews who was saying that.
So it's
Yeah,
about
Pratyush?
people talk about delegation, people talk about second line leadership and all those things. But to go there, there's a process of getting it done. You cannot just take your entire headache and hand it over to your junior. Say, hey, you now you have to take care of these things. So for that, and in our sector, it's like project management of a social project is much bigger than any project management in a industry sector or any physical science sector. So you have to build up the capacity of your team with respect to social project management, monitoring and evaluation. The more your team are deep into that process, that takes care of their own confidence and ability to talk to stakeholder based on their need, design project, get it executed, and then monitor it, create a evaluation platform for it, and then report and also circulate within outer circle so that people can learn and grow from that project. So capacity building of your team with respect to project management, which was initially I gave huge support to my team by consciously designing their training curriculum so that people went through all those training. Second, I've always motivated team to go for higher educations side by side when they are working. Let them go through all kind of training, which I always do in my lifetime. And whether it is a free training or a paid kind of training. So our team has gone through project management training, ISO 26000 training, SROI training, GRI, G3, G4 core, comprehensive, all those trainings. So they can easily relate. If you only limit them to CSR kind of training, they'll not be able to relate with the business. The more they are into sustainability kind of training, they can directly relate to business processes of the organization. So people will say environment doesn't fall on CSR. So I always ask or tell them, doing environmental work on your periphery is your social responsibilities. Please understand that. Because of some industries, the area is getting polluted. Doing an environmental project, keeping intact the environment of your locality is our social responsibilities. So it falls under our CSR and it can easily be adopted with community, can be done. And we have done a lot of biodiversity projects within community to safeguard different flora and fauna of that specific locality. Like in Himachal, we have a old abandoned mines. Today that has become a tourist point. The mines is no more there. It is now full of orchard, local variety orchard. You can easily pluck different fruits with your hand. It is so close to ground. And from that point, the entire Baddi and the river side and this side, Bilaspur district, you can see
Yes,
almost like 300-kilometer radius, you can easily see. People used to come to go to that point to see the entire view of that area. So, and nobody feels that I'm standing on the top of a mine, as an old abandoned mines. It's a lush green area, beautiful landscapes. And 5-10 years before, it was a pure limestone mines for ACC. Today it is no more a mines. It's open for public who can come visit, see that area to our plant. All those things is possible. And third point on those lines is on capacity building. When you build up, create some kind of evaluation of your project to see what is the impact that we have led to in the community with the different stakeholder. If you do, without doing a study, you can guess, kuch acha kaam to hua hai, dikhta hai.
Sure.
How acha is that acha? How good is that good? Nobody knows. So you need to come to a some kind of measuring tool, no doubt. And by virtue of that, if it is done by third party and external party, it's very easy to convince outside. And when people come from outside with different lenses that they do and gauge your work and the impact out of that, it always visible to others. And what we have done in 2014, immediately constitutes a social audit committee. So based on the social engineers from India, we brought them together with folded hand. We said, we'll not be paying you any fee. You do it for us. We'll take care of all your costs. People came together. We brought a lot of students from XIM-B, XISS, TISS. They, for their internship, they needed some space. So they went, collected data, handed it over to them. And they went to all sites. And every year, all our CSR expenses went through social audit process 5 years consecutively, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Then we decided every year is 2 taxes. Now we can do alternate or 2 to 3 years kind of thing. And when that report came out with a scientifically designed social scorecard, CSR scorecard, and each location used to get different marking, and who will be in the top and who will be in the medium and who will be below. And again, project wise. So X location might be an average, but his education project is best. So we have a system of, we say it, copy with pride. So if something is good, the team will go study, learn, create a replicable document, replication document, and it will bound to get replicated across other locations by tweaking with contextual requirement of that specific area. So that has knitted well with the team, the capacity that has gone. They are the best of the M&A process within our team. And then when they take it out, then my job is to look beyond what next we can do. So 2016, we had shown government that yes, solid waste management can also be dealt socially by community. When people are talking about education, livelihood, health, we started this project in Madurai, and we did in Tamil Nadu. Some of feedback we got, yes, Tamil Nadu South is more developed, so it is possible there. It will not be possible other area. So now we are doing in Chhattisgarh, in Jharkhand, in Madhya Pradesh also. So community managing entire solid waste of that area and also earning out of that. It's not that they are doing it with some external support, but they're also earning out. If you go to Jamul today, and if you have a steel 1 kilo, we'll get 25 rupees. If you have a electronics waste, wire, everything, you will get 28 rupees then and there from them. If you have paper waste, you'll get 14 rupees per kilo. You go anytime on the working day. And they're all SHG women, those who are doing. So then this is how we has to excel something when some innovative project we need to take proactively and go ahead. Then only, people can relate to it, to what next, what is coming proactive. So one has to be very proactive on those lines. And why we did this social solid waste management project was, we all know that by 2035-40, more than 50% of Indian population will be in cities. So by that time, population will be 150 crores. And look at today's problem in Delhi, Bombay, in any cities, the solid waste management by any municipal corporation. If it is today's situation, just imagine when 75 crores people will be in these cities. So just to open everybody's eyes, we said, let's start doing something. It was very hard, very hardship project for all of us, but we did it. We did it. And we are doing it in a replicable model in other small towns also.
Excellent, Pratyush. I was going through the web today. I tried to see like how you have been able to incorporate all those things in the company reporting. 2014, ACC came out with a BRR report.
Yes.
Next year, you came out with a sustainability report. Then you integrated this whole thing into an integrated report. Now, last year you came out with one report.
Yes.
Where CSR comes from 51, page number 51, and it also in 3 headings now. So what is this whole journey? How you have been able to convey what to your stakeholders first, and second, the company, how company has aligned to this whole thinking of what government wants. Government wants that you follow all the voluntary guidelines, the 2011 NVGs, then BRR, then integrated report. And then also last year you have gone for GRI also.
Yes.
So how you are able to manage such a, what you call a different type of a dilemmas together into one report? And what is this report? Yeah. Should I call it an integrated report now?
Integrated report, yes. Yes, integrated report. So I'll tell you, life is always a journey. And if you look at ACC was probably, people say ACC's world first official merger. 1938, when it was formed, it was merged with multiple cement companies of India, and they formed company called Associate Cement Company. Now it is only ACC, but those it was called Associate Cement Companies. And it was with all support of Tata Group's companies. Till date also we have very extremely good relation. There are a lot of directors used to be there on our independent directors. Those were in the both the boards of Tata's and ACC. So we have lot of similarity with the Tata operations. But fortunately, 2000 onwards, Holcim came into picture as a global company from Zurich and started taking stakes on ACCs. That also brought a lot of global practices much faster than Tata Groups adopted it. In this line, we are already there, very good in Indian context, no doubt in that. But that Holcim brought the global perspective, the Dow Jones subsidiary indices, all those GRAs, everything was seeing, and we Holcim Group as a together has a very good, strong principles on anti-corruption, bribery, safety standards, sustainability standards, all those things. And for people like Pratyush, it's always like blessing in disguise, all those because that was already there in my mind because of my global exposures. And then when all those things came together, it was very easy for me to get it adopted within. And there is a very good team within our environment department, our business services department, the corporate communication department. And there we have a different system in our location. I must tell you about those things. We have sustainability committees across all plant locations. All plant. They are bound to sit every month, discuss all sustainability related issues concerned. Then we have community advisory panels. Community advisory panels, it's comprising of 8 to 10 different categories of stakeholders coming together and created a committee. They are bound to sit with my plant management every quarter. So there are 2 women members, 2 farmers, 2 journalists, 2 government retired employees, 2 youth of that area. So there are 18, 20 people coming together, sitting with plant management for 2-3 hours. What they will discuss, what they have done in last quarter regarding community development and the CSR part, and what are the issues concerned from the community they will share, and then they will chalk out plan for next quarter. Initially, there are a lot of tussles. It was like a chore police scale, but slowly they realize that this will not get in any other corporates. Nobody gives us this space. Here is a space we can talk and discuss, decide. Then whatever issues concern comes, because there are government officers also there, we try to check it out if government is also doing that project. If government is putting money, then we'll put our money somewhere else or fill in the blanks kind of things. And jointly, this project started taking good space. This all started like more than a decade now. And by virtue of that, the relation with our stakeholders, the government, the communities, they all develop pretty well. And minor issues concern are also discussed. This is all minuted. And this all record is offloaded in our iCare portal, where our seniors are, today's our sustainability head, Magali man can sitting at jury, all those reports. The system is so embedded and it's really an awesome high-class global platform. And all those facilities that we got, now it is called Lafarge Holcim as a company. We call LH Lafarge Holcim, close 2015, because Lafarge Holcim went through merger. It is called LH Lafarge Holcim. So Lafarge Holcim provide us that all the static know-how, the platforms, the global connections, and that provides us always on our, force us to be proactive. And because we are proactive on those lines, results are bound to come in initial. This is how, and coming back to your reporting format, we are always there on 2008-9 onwards. Our sustainability reporting started. BRR started as from 13-14 onwards proactively. 2008 or 18 also we did our integrated reporting only for internal purpose, just to see whether we are able to do it or not. So we had our sustainability report, annual report, BRR report, plus also integrated report. That gave us confidence, yes. And then 19, we came out with integrated report also. There are very few companies in India, maybe 2, 3, or 5, those who have gone through integrated reporting process as of now. and sooner or later everybody has to do. So ACC says if you have to do it tomorrow, let's do it today.
Okay.
And that's the reason we did it from 2018-19 onwards. And everybody's game. Everybody has to put up their data and information with all good coordination, and everything is done internally. There is nothing is outsourced except for that third-party verification part and all. The data reporting compilation is all in-house.
One good thing, Pratyush, I saw with your company, all these stakeholders you have talked about, the community, your staff, government, your board. One more thing which I have seen your company, you are trying to take it to the customer now. I have come across this, what you call green technology.
Correct, correct.
What is this green technology and how does it work for the company with the other stakeholders, including mainly the consumers?
Okay, so green technology is what any technology today which we are adopting, because we are a pretty old company, 80-plus-year-old company. So a lot of things must be obsolete inside also. But whenever there is a change going to take place, we are adapting, going through our green technology processes. So I'll tell you, like waste heat recovery systems. Our plants are there. It's called WHRS. Waste heat. So when you do cement processing, we always has to, on the clean, always has to have 1400 to 1800 degree temperature. So a lot of heat is also get wasted in the entire process. So for that, if you put up a waste heat recovery system, which will cost you roughly 50 to 100 crores today, and you can revive lot of energy which is going out in the market and getting lapsed from your hand. If you do that, automatically your dependency on thermal energy will go down. So that we are doing it. Second, because our to maintain that 1400 degree temperature, we always need fuel and inside that thing. So normally coal is a fuel, and we all know that we need to get it substituted with some renewable sources. So all that solid waste that is generated in different cities is through our geocycle platform comes inside and get burnt completely, because it is 1400 degree temperatures. It is Government of India Central Production Board approved machineries platforms. So once that goes into that, we take out the calorific value of it and also save some kind of coal that could have gone, if would not have gone through. So today, if you see that where this all that plastic waste goes out, it finally comes to cement plant and through geocycle platforms and get it converted into energies. So we try to see that all that green technology related or anything that has green, we try to adapt it entire value chain from query to customer. So I'll tell you product wise, it is the first company in India, all our product are EPD certified.
Okay.
Which is a global standards. In India, it is not mandated. It is not mandated to have your EPD certification, but all our cement products have got EPD certificates. You can see it online. So at least those who know value of green technology, they'll appreciate here is a product which is coming out of green technology in India. We have a concrete, you must have seen ACC concrete van must be moving in Delhi.
Yes.
So these are all concrete and we have a product called EcoCrete.
Yes.
So EcoCrete is a concrete. If you put it on your lawn outside home, suppose you want that, you don't want to have muddy earth outside, but you want to conserve water. If you put normal cement or concrete, the water will flow out. It will not go down. If you put EcoCrete, and you can put all that water is coming through rain will go down. It will pass that concrete and it will recharge ground. Whereas you'll get the benefit of the concrete on the top.
For sure.
It has been created and people are appreciating. A lot of companies are using that today. So you get that value of concrete. You are not compromising with your requirements. At the same time, you are also recharging your ground. So all these things goes into the entire process of green technology. And then now we have this green building centers. So in tier 2, 3 cities, we're creating green building centers. A green building center is what? It provides you low-cost housing technology, increasing your housing strength, minimizing your cost of construction, and giving you green products. And we assured you, we don't use topsoil. All waste of that area, especially fly ash kind of things, are being converted into non-burning bricks. And then that goes, if you go to a green building center, you ask one brick, they'll sell you. You ask one truckload of bricks, they'll sell you. You ask one toilet, they'll sell you. If you ask one home, one village, they'll come and build it for you. They have that strength. And that's what we are doing. And without burning, without using topsoil, these are being done across. And with the best of the technologies. So these are all green building centers where anybody can go and get pre-designing and all those facilities and construct their house in them. And this is you'll not find this in cities. You'll always find it in district headquarters, sub-regional headquarters, all those areas.
Very nice, Pratyush. Dr. Hopkins, are you hearing us? Dr. Hopkins?
Yes, I hear you, Dr. KK. How are you doing?
We are doing fine. I will just like to bring in you. Like we have been talking about India, we have a system now where as a government requirement, we have to report on BRR and the national guidelines and all. So like Pratyush company, ACC, they are doing very good in reporting. They have an integrated report for 2019, which includes the sustainability report, BRR, GRI, and all. But a lot of companies in India are not doing that. I was going through the literature today. Only 50 companies are doing that in India. 500 companies, they are reporting on BRR, which is mandatory for top 500 companies now. So how do you see it internationally? Where are we? And what's your advice to Pratyush as a company, how and what they should do?
You know, Dr. KK, I'm actually asked that quite a lot. And to quote the Nobel Prize winner this morning about the future, he says, I don't know. And they said, you're a Nobel Prize winner. He said, that's really why I don't know. Let me say a few things. Let me say a few things on that. I'm actually involved in an exercise right now with the European Football Association and sports bodies, looking at the Global Reporting Initiative, how it can be upgraded to measure the impact of events. Now, I've had a love-hate relationship with the Global Reporting Initiative since it started in the mid-90s. And I remember going to some of their working groups, and the working groups would generally have something like 500 to 1,000 people in there. I remember going to one on human rights because I wanted to know how they were going to measure it. Well, with 1,000 people in the audience, we didn't get very far. And then I went to the one on labor and labor statistics. And as you know, I'm former ILO, and therefore I do know a little bit about employment statistics. Of course, that's changing all the time, but enough to conduct surveys. And at that meeting, it was chaired by the head of a trade union, an international trade union. And all he wanted from labor statistics was to measure how companies are treating employees. Well, that's fair enough, but I also wanted to know how the employees were treating the company. What was the relationship between men and women? And the other big issue about unions is that they don't really care that much about the unemployed because they don't represent them. They represent their members. So that's a big problem with my old organization, the International Labour Organization. So I've not answered your question. I think in a private note just before, I think I said that to you, is that what for me, the Global Reporting Initiative is a tremendous source of indicators, but it's got so many, and you never know which one to use. And also they're changing their standards quite frequently. We're now at, I think, G4 upgrade, I think we're at right now.
Yes.
I can hardly keep up with it, actually. What I always have recommended is that you have to start with a theory or a model. What are you trying to measure? Without that theory, what you're trying to measure, what do you look for? Oh, I've got to measure the environment. Oh, I've got to measure, I was doing this morning, actually, you've got to measure discrimination against women. This and where does it stop? And I always like to do simple things. I like to do it, I think maybe 40 or 50 indicators on a company will give you a pretty good idea of their corporate social responsibility. Of course, it won't give you the full details that you would need, and then you'd have to look even further. Now I'm going to use the word I, and I apologize for that, because I have actually developed such a simple system over the years, which I call my model of measurement, and a CSR model of measurement, and it's on my website, CSRFI. When I presented it a dozen or so years ago, an ex-student of mine said to me, "Oh, Mr. Hopkins, you're always talking about your model. You should call it something." And I said, "Well, okay, what?" And he said, "Well, name it after you." And I said, "I can't do that. That's very egotistical." Anyway, 6 months later, I named it after me. It's called the Hopkins CSR Model. I'll put the web reference in a minute on the chat box, and you can see that. And what it starts off with is, you know me by now, it starts off with a definition.
Yes.
What do I mean by CSR? What do I mean by sustainability? Then what are the global concepts in it? Then what are the key issues in each of those concepts? And what are therefore the indicators? And I've tried to check my indicators with the Global Reporting Initiative, but I always find when I do that, I can't find them because the GRI is a little bit complicated. There are, of course, and Pratyush, if I may call you Pratyush, sir, mentioned a number of standards like ISO 26000. ISO 26000 is probably about as near to my measurement system, or the other way around, one could say, as you can get. I think it's pretty good. Harsher has a recording of the creator of ISO 26000. Can't remember his name right now, but Harsher.
Dr. Martin Neuritter.
Sorry?
Dr. Martin Neuritter.
Yes, that's right, Dr. Martin Neuritter. Yeah, did an excellent speech on ISO 26000 and covered a lot of these issues. Harsher's a bit jealous because he actually gave me a copy of ISO 26000 for free. But everybody else has got to pay for it.
Give us the copy, and you should be kind enough to share it with us. You know, knowledge increases by sharing.
No, I totally agree with you.
Or else we will copy with pride.
I share with you for free my model, HCSRM, but I can't really, and you wouldn't do the same actually, because out of ISO, they're selling it as part of a product and so on. And if I gave it to an institution, I don't think it's really fair. I don't think it's so expensive, actually. In fact, what I could do is buy a copy for you. No, why don't I do that? Okay, because you're so good to me anyway. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll make a note of that. It probably cost me $100, so give me a nice cup of tea when I come to India next. But going back to the question on measurement and which one and which standard to follow, I think it's all still evolving. The EU, for example, have got a set of precepts, but that's evolving as well. the group that I'm working with is actually working with GRI on measuring sustainability in events. As you know, to me, I define CSR and sustainability, that CSR is the process and sustainability is the goal. I'm not sure how many people will agree with me. You know, Michael Hopkins goes around defining these things, but
We agree with you.
Oh, thank
We
you.
agree with you.
Okay. Well, that's good. Oh, good. Okay. And since you wonderful people representative of the rest of India, of 1.3 billion people, I think I can say 1 in 4 people. No, that's not quite right. Not quite fair. But yes, I think it is. It is rather difficult. You remember in the early 70s, there was also set up by some friends of mine, labor standards called SA 8000.
Yes.
You know that. And then after that, in the 90s was AA 1000. But I think they've all kind of been superseded by GRI these days. But then GRI really doesn't give you the methodology. What I'm trying to do in this working group that I'm working on with the football and sports people is to try and come up with a simple model, but also with guidance if you want to go into much more detail. So I'm hoping that I can convince them to use my model. But you know what it's like when you have an idea, even though I've been working on this for 15, 20 years, to try and convince other people to take it. Because in a sense, everybody wants to use their own work, and which is quite understandable. In terms of your country, of course, you have the CSR law.
Yes.
But I don't think the CSR law goes much into measurement. And I know more and more, because I haven't read the recent stuff, it's widened the scope of the types of projects that companies can do. And of course, some of the big companies like Tata spend something like, I think they said, and that was also one of Harsh's meetings, something like 16% of their profits on CSR activities and so on. So I've not answered your question, Dr. KK. You always ask me the difficult ones, I know.
What I will do, Dr. Hopkins, I'll go back to Pratyush. Because what's happening in India now, we also have a government department which works on sustainable development goal. My problem with sustainable development goals is there are already 17 of them with about 269 indicators. And then working in a government system, how do you do it? I saw in his ACC annual report, they had tried to take SDGs along with the BRR and the 9 principles of the Global Compact. Pratyush, how complex you find it?
Let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
Because as you can imagine, as being former UN, I was pretty involved in quite a lot of that stuff, including the UN Global Compact, which, to be quite honest, has only got 10 principles.
Yes.
And 4 of the 10, as you remember, were labor. And you know why they were labor? Because my boss spent all his time in New York trying to get the word employment in every declaration the UN was doing. And I'm not joking. And that's how things go. In a way, the UN is great because it's exchanges ideas and it talks. But asking the UN to actually, should we say, design a bus or design a car, my goodness, it would probably look like a motorbike. And I think that's they went with after the MDGs, okay, because they're always trying to get away from the development decades started in the 50s, as you remember, before all of you were born, actually, I think. But in the 50s, when the focus was on maximizing economic growth, as you remember, and so in those days, the development decade, led by Jan Tinbergen, who got a Nobel Prize for that. I was fortunate to meet him several times. In fact, I even drove him in my car once. So how about that? But that was a long time ago. So they moved on with the Millennium Development Goals, which were focused on poverty. And in a sense, it gave them a focus. But then they went into the SDGs, and they toured around the world, hundreds of meetings involving the private sector. And that was good. Because of that, the private sector are quite interested in the SDGs. But Dr. KK, as you know, there's no model behind it. So you end up with, as you said, 17 concepts. It was 169 indicators. Yes. So where are you? You know, it's kind of like a GRI for development. So I would have started the other way around. As you know, I'm a systems analyst. And I would say, well, what is a system that you're trying to measure? And what do we mean by development? And as you remember, I've said this, I think, before, that my old boss was head of the Institute of Development Studies at Sussex University. Okay. And we worked together on social indicators, though I'm talking in 1980s. And he said, Michael, the ultimate indicator of development is life expectancy at birth. So, Dr. KK, you can imagine I've written a paper on that, linking that to the SDGs and trying to say, SDGs, what are you trying to measure and where are you trying to go? I can send you that paper actually on SDGs, where I've tried to apply a systems approach to it. I think the good thing is that right across the world, people are looking at social and environmental issues as well as economic and financial. And I think, especially even this year, how it's broadened. But of course, measuring these things, and Pratyush mentioned that early on, that things are not always that easy to measure it. I always say that if you can define it, you can measure it. Now the issue is, yes, you could measure the height of a person, as you know, interval scale data, but how do you measure love? My response is that, and Pratyush said the same, I think, just now, when you challenged him, was that just some things are more difficult to measure than others, but you can measure them. And then we know we have things like happiness index right now. So Dr. KK and Pratyush, I think what I've given you is probably more things to think of. And I'm sorry I didn't come up with any really simple solution, but I'll put up my HCSRM, have a look at it. I've applied that to many companies and institutions around the world, and maybe we could even improve that. And that could become, I'd be happy if it, and I give it away free. I give all my work away free, actually. I'm old enough and ugly enough, you know, not to be grasping money, which is why I won't ISO 26,000. Pratyush, you want to ask me a question?
No. I'm saying maybe I can try taking your model and to fix it into our next round of social audit that we'll do. If your model will fit in, I think we can have 1 year trial by adopting your model to her and social audit for all our CSR projects.
You know, that would be absolutely wonderful. And then we could look at it together, because your impressive company. I was actually Googling your company just now, and having a look at your turnover is something like $2 billion a year. So a very impressive company. And I know Harsha very well, and she really has a fantastic network. Last week we did have some of the biggest companies as well in India talking about what they've been doing. And do join her future seminars and courses. Harsha, I don't know how you do it, but you've got this magnetism where you can draw in people, and great people, really. That, as you remember that discussion a week ago, I was so happy about it. Anyway, thanks very much.
and Dr. Hopkins, one more update on my company. It's also a zero debt company in India.
Oh, okay. Very good. Excellent.
So Pratyush, I'll come back to you. How do you see this whole future of reporting, especially in the Indian context, since you are one of the leading companies, and in this sector, to me, you are the leader. who leads in indicators, in reporting, and also relating to the community as such. Of late, things have changed a lot. It has got very much what you call, I'll call it confused. Like Dr. Hopkins says, he starts working with a solution. Here we are very confused now. So what do you see future of reporting in India?
So if let me tell, we all know that it's an evolving space, and the evolvement process is also catalyzed very fast these days. Last 2 years, the catalytic agent, those who are working on this evolution process to measure and report. Also, there are two, three now in global. If you look at, there are basically two, three different school of thoughts people are zeroing down. One of them, which is a pioneer, is GRI standards. In India, if you see that with the new Niti Aayog, Erstwhile Planning Commission, now they have something for their social district to monitor. They have freezed that. That's a government tool. How do Niti Aayog monitor their Asmas district for education, for agri, for health? They have different parameters. Just imagine if that is get extended from Asmas district to all district. Probably that's a solution. Let's not question that how good is that is good or is good or better or best, but there is something which is uniform for India. And precisely this Niti Aayog Asmas district monitoring tool has been designed by looking at SDG and GRI as well. And it has made very simplified process of putting numbers and getting it measured. And second, it is so dynamic that suppose you are very good in this quarter on quality of education in elementary, next quarter could be equally worst for you. So it captures both the elasticity is pretty high on this Niti Aayog tool. Why I'm saying so, we all can develop multiple tools at our level. Like I have my social audit process. I'm very happy on those tools and all those things. But when you take it out to the market at all, people judge these tools looking at your company's face, your face. So somebody will say extremely good, somebody will say extremely bad. So that doesn't give you space to get it replicated and make it uniform across all players, unless it comes from, in Indian context, I'm saying, unless it comes from a central force, in our example, like Niti Aayog. If Niti Aayog tools, I look for the day with Niti Aayog makes that tool open for all to be used. And if everybody use the same tool, there is, if the goalpost size is same, so it's good for all the players playing inside the football game. The same way, the tool is for all district, whether it is for Aspresa district or non-Aspresa district also, everything will be measured in that way. And the same tool can also be extended through corporate ministry to the corporate world. People can use and start publishing report on those line, whatever we are doing. It's possible. I checked. I internally have already done this Niti Aayog tool using at our 2-3 locations. It's working out. If you ask me how happy you are with that tool and all, I can tell you it has to go a long way by this time. But at least if Niti Aayog does that, it's a uniform tool for everyone in India.
Sure. With that, over to you, Harsha.
Yes, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Now that we are all living in the COVID times, how do you see we can introduce automations and digitization such that even without visiting the place, we can get all the things in place?
Brilliant question. The $1 million question, Harsha. We could have given me hint. I could have given you a demo by this time by connecting. Yesterday, I has connected to 3 of my locations, and entire check measurement was done, and I was looking at live from my end just to cross check. I'll tell you one small case study from Orissa. Post demonetization, in India, people said it's bad for economy, X, Y, all those things. But that's what the government decision. We all have to go along. So immediately what we have done with the help of Niti Aayog and NC PI in Bombay and Sidbi. We trained 3,000 women in Orissa, Bargad as a district, which is the place is called Dungri, which is almost more than 600 kilometers from state capital. And from Delhi, it will be roughly 1,500 kilometers. I'd say it's inside, this panchayat is inside a deep reserve forest. We trained them on financial literacy. Instead of making them financially literate, we made them through it a digital process. So digitally they were made, the financial literacy was given. And through Aadhaar UID base, they were given POS to withdraw money and deposit also. But they were doing a small job by that till lockdown didn't hit them. They were still having the money, but they were preferring going to bank to withdraw their loan money, do their micro enterprise. The moment lockdown hit India and they were there, and their SHG federation is a registered one called Pratyush Trust. So the SHG member will just give a call to the federation. Somebody from the federation office will come, take your finger tip, get it attached to your Aadhaar UID through access your bank, and give you 500 or 1,500 bucks if you want to withdraw for your productive purpose. And it's in one panchayat, every month they are doing a business of in Indian currency worth of 5 lakhs rupees every month. So they have already crossed 28 lakhs as on day before yesterday. Same other tribal lady in that interior area has been done. Why it was done? Because they have got that digital access 2 years, 1.5 years back proactively. They were not doing is a main source of business. It was a backup for them, but in this blessing in disguise, it has made their life world upside down. So they are not going to bank because of the COVID and all those things, but they're accessing their micro enterprise, microfinance, everything sitting at their doorstep. And digitalization is a must. I always say, so whether you are in any kind of business, whether in NGOs, impact investment, investment banking, anyway, be sure you are running a digital business. If you feel that way, you'll get your way to get it done. For last 6 months, all our works on the field are going on. In this lockdown, we have created 61 river check dams and pond to increase to become water positive in some of the locations. 61 in this crucial time also. It's possible, and there are now the tool kind we were using can be used for many other purpose. If the team is at that site and can provide you this access, it's possible. Now question arises, there are certain area which is gray where internet never goes, doesn't reach out to that area. And we hardly Indian knows that in government of India has also given a free bandwidth which can also be accessed. We always needed to depend on XYZ brand to have our internet. And that can be get access. There is an NGO in Delhi called DEF, Digital Empowerment Foundation. Talk to Osam Manjar and you challenge him a village, say, sir, is gaon mein internet nahi aati hai. He'll get it done in 1 month. He'll get it done in 1 month. And whenever they go, they don't do a need assessment study. For them, world upside down. They'll first go make their school or the panchayat office Wi-Fi. And from there, a lot of right to information will start going. Mujhe vidhava bhatta nahi mila, mujhe widow pension nahi mila, whatever issues. And they ensure that within 2 to 3 months, district collector visits. When he realized, how come this village giving all online complaints, which is going up to PMO's office on grievances. So district collector start visits. And they empower people in a way, they say, you need to go to district collector office. Itna paisa kharch kar kyun jana hai? Aayenge log aapke paas. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know.
और आते हैं लोग दौड़ के आते हैं. So that's a process, and they were doing it for last 5-7 years, not today. And it's possible, as you said, Harsa, it's a $1 million question. We all need to show our agility with respect to digitalization and get it done sooner as a best for all of us.
Thank you so much, sir. Today we have another guest from Kenya all the way, Ms. Ladi. Would you like to please come forth and ask your question or please introduce yourself?
Hi, Gladys.
I guess.
Are you hearing us? Hello. No worry. Let's go ahead. She has unmuted herself.
Hi
Yeah,
everyone. Hello.
Yeah, Gladys. Harsha is talking
Yeah,
to
I'm
you.
so sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to our show. Yeah. Hi, Glady. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm doing well, and I'm so happy to be part of this network. Yeah. And thank you, Dr. Michael, for welcoming me and inviting me to this part of the CSR team. Yeah, looking forward for future collaborations and partnership on how we can work together and have a partnership in the area of CSR. And I'm so happy. I'm the only Kenyan here, but next time we will come with many Kenyans joining on board. Yeah. Thank you.
Gladys is not normally shy, but she's an expert on something called knowledge management, and she's also a mentor of many Kenyans in that area. I met her only a few weeks ago. She's also working with the World Bank on some of these issues as well. So she's rapidly getting up to speed with the CSR field. So thank you very much, Harsha, for allowing Gladys to come in today, and see if you can grab her to give you a speech on knowledge management one day. Gladys, am I offering too much?
Thank you, Dr. Michael. Yeah, I'll be so happy sharing together and with you on how we can collaborate together. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
I have one more question, Mr. Panda, if you may
Tell me.
allow. So in the times that we are living, CSR and sustainability, when it was introduced, we did not have any courses as such live. And now IICSR being one of the dedicated institutions for training, development, research for CSR and sustainability primarily, what are the kind of courses that you see we should introduce that are required for the working professionals right now?
Okay, on you mean only for the CSR sustainability professionals?
Yes, primarily for CSR sustainability professionals. Also, I would like to add this one more question to it. We were the first ones to launch MBA in CSR program with the Pune-based university. Now, what are the basic questions that or subjects that a graduate, MBA or a master's in CSR and sustainability should know before he is employed with you?
Got your point. So, this is one of the point where I used to have big tussle with IICA in Gurgaon. With every government of India's mandate or amendment, there should not be a new course coming out. That doesn't work that way. Academic doesn't work in that way. Rather, can you design a course which can fits into multiple requirements? That can happen. The other way around is always correct globally. So, and in India, if you talk about CSR, means people think of social only. And believe me, anybody who is in CSR today will not able to settle unless he knows his organizational business with clear fundamentals. If Pratyush doesn't know how cement is produced, he cannot be head CSR for ACC Cement for a longer time. Be sure. Because unless I know query to customer, the entire process, I'll not able to embed my CSR sustainability interventions across different value chain links. And to know that, you have to have a good sense of business. So having business management in built is must. Don't think of, I'm talking to you with respect to global standard, not on Indian standards. In Indian standards, what they will do, master in social work plus some basic managerial skills, that is CSR. It's not CSR. It's not CSR. Somebody has to, understand that. I'll tell you, when I used to be with INGOs, in Jharkhand, we promoted lakh bangle making. You know that lakh? Upadhyay sir, you must be knowing.
Yeah, definitely.
Lakh bangle making is a rampant. How? And dona pattal making for women livelihood. How does it take place? You have to cut the main stem of the tree 1/3 and put a jar below that, collect the saliva from there, and that will convert into lakh, that will livelihood. And the tree will die out. A tree whose life is almost 50 years will die out in 3 to 5 years. So in CSR, we said objective is okay, women economic empowerment. The process is wrong. We'll give you economic empowerment, but not at the cost of a plant or of a tree or even at the cost of a leaf. This you can only understand if you know entire business process value chain in right way. And then now, if you ask me, SAG upar dona pattal mein, I said no, big no. We will not give you livelihood at the cost of a leaf or a tree or a trunk. No. Your objective is same, but the process will be something else. Your micro enterprise, the means to end will be something else. So that part should be need to well captured in the course, so that people, when you talk about CSR, teach them sustainability also. Don't limit CSR in Indian context of only up to social, because they'll not able to know. Second, provide them some best of the know-how from the global practices. ILO has a best of some of the best of the human rights principle practices. In ACC, we do all plant has to go human rights audit every 3 years, all plants. We used to sit with FGDs, groups with different stakeholders and collect those data. And again, submit it to iCare, where my global head can see it online. So those are not there in my competitors in India. For which my cost of production will go up by say another 500 bucks, 300 bucks, or 200 bucks per ton. It will go up because this investment is going on into the entire process. So those need to be captured. Within that, I must tell you, people must know Dow Jones Sustainability Indices. People must know the GRI frequently change, whatever the latest updates coming out from GRI. It's a wonderful thing to know all those things. And then the UNGC 10 principles, SDG 169 targets and their milestones which have been uttered. How can people, so when somebody is going to work after your training, at least what I expect from them is somebody is theoretically perfectly updated and can relate our things. Suppose I'm doing a, say, a farmers producer company, they have created a micro, the enterprise worth of 10 lakhs value. While reporting on my integrated reporting, I must able to relate it to GRI. I must able to relate it to DJSI. I must able to relate it to UNGC. I must able to relate it to the BRR. Because, same thing, I have to relate it in different angles. So that when somebody has to borrow, SDG asks me for a report, for me, it's always easy. Take out X, Y, Z indicators of GRI. This will go into SDG 1. This will go to SDG 2 automatically. And same for the BRR also. Same it will go for UNGC 10 principles reporting also. Somebody, and then people will know, again, why I'm invested so much on our team here, because I thought people all need to know. If you are going on those kind of training or courses, design on a global platform. And tomorrow, if somebody is employed, another thing I must tell you in India, the Indian companies, those are not part of global conglomerate and MNCs, their CSR thought process is totally different than MNC-based CSR processes. As Michael says, sustainability as your goal, CSR become a process. Whereas in typical Indian MNCs, these are two different watertight compartments. Sustainability means for them, with all vices, they'll say, okay, more or less environment, give it to environment head. CSR is all social. But if you take it as a watertight compartment, your company or organization will never able to cherish the sentence which I called looking forward for excellence. They'll never able to reach, march towards excellence. Forget about achieving excellence. They'll never able to. So these two goes hand in hand. And when you talk of sustainability, it also talks about profit and its sustainability. It also talks about that. One has to realize sustainability not only environment, not only CSR. It also talks about governance, the ESG on a frame. You can have excellent performance on social and environment for 1 year. If your governance process are pretty weak, will take a downturn within next couple of years. So how it will get sustained? If your governance process are equally at par, then only it will get sustained. All those companies, those who are sustaining in this globe for more than 50, 60, 80 years, the basic parameters for them was always good governance. The good governance, as like in ACC, till date, all our chairmen are not for executives. They're from the independent director set of director. So if your chairman is somebody who is outside and HOD, then you realize that you will not able to do a single small mistake anywhere by knowingly or unknowingly. So that's the reason quality of the ACC cement is always a big concern inside, outside, everywhere. And that has gone into mind of, if you go to Uttarakhand, Himachal and all those places, लोग छत ढलाई नहीं करेंगे अगर एसीसी का सीमेंट नहीं मिला तो लेबर को पैसे देके भेज देंगे बोलेंगे कल आ जा. So this is all yielded because of good governance practices within. It is not like Rome was not built in a day, we say the same process. So build all those things built into your course. I'll be happy to assist if you can share me how you are doing it. I'll be happy to have a look at that. Thank you.
That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. We will share with you, sir. Thank you.
So over to you, Harsha. Should be
okay. Okay, so it has been a great interaction with you, Mr. Panda. We learned so much more about the reporting and measurement tools that you all are using and that we would need in the times to come as an industry in the sustainability and CSR space. I'd like to also update you, Dr. Upadhyay is also taking one of our courses, a base level as well as an advanced level,
Brilliant.
Which includes SROI studies starting from the 21st. And in the advanced level, I'm so glad that you mentioned about DJSI and all the stock exchanges. We have incorporated that as well in content and curriculum. I hope you would be delighted to see that. It is an honor to have you among us. It would be great to hear your message to all of our viewers who are not only from the CSR, but also the NGOs, but also the students and all of them who are watching you right now.
My last message you were saying?
Yeah.
So, anything that doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. Anything that doesn't get measured doesn't get managed, whether at your home, at your office, at CSR or sustainability. So think measurement while designing your project, not at the end. After doing, don't think of how do I measure it now. Think how do I measure it now when the project is at the conceptual stage. Design inbuilt from the day one, so that whether your implementing agencies, or the NGOs, or your collaborative agencies, everybody is clear. This is how we are going to get measured at the year end. That has to be clear from the day one. So the basic, the logical framework approach, LFA matrix, works much better today also, which I learned from Father Bogart and with XIM with Father Kashmiras 25 years back. Still yielding a good amount of result today, because it talks about objectively verifiable indicators, means of verification, that all get designed during project design stage, not at the end. So from the day one, you know that if I'm going to school, I am to get measure about the quality of education. We all know that we'll take an exam of mathematics of the class 5th standards. We'll check whether class 5th standard students are able to solve it or not. If they're not able to solve, who are going to solve it? What is the percent of people solving? So that I can tell you, okay, the class 5 standards mathematics 50% people are able to solve the same standards of mathematics. So, this has to very crystal clear from the day one. Suppose you are measuring IMR, you must be knowing that I'll only measure IMR for 1,000 live birth in one contiguous area in one block at the year, in say December, like government does. So we are clear that IMR report will only come during the month of December for that specific calendar year, for that specific geography. It has to be very clear from them. Finally, anything that doesn't get measured doesn't get managed.
Yeah.
You have better management, you have to measure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It's a great learning for all of us. May I request for a group picture over here?
Please.
Sure.
To have you with us, and we wish you all the best in the endeavors, and whatever we as an institution could support, please let us know.
Yeah, thank you, Harsha. Just connect me to Dr. Hopkins and ladies also through mail. I have already taken the link shared by Dr. Hopkins. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Dr. Upadhyay.
Thank you so much.
Dr.
Thank you.
Hopkins.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Gladys,
ladies,
for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratyush.
thank you. Thank you, Harsha. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.